Okay, so if you remember last session, we were discussing about MCP servers, right? We discussed about different types of LLM applications like generative AI and agentic AI and how they work. And we have seen the high level of how RAG system works. Okay, so then we have seen MCP server comparing with USB. Okay, USB comparison. Then we compared with MCP and API servers. Okay, so why I'm comparing MCP with API server is so basically, so internally MCP is a kind of API only. Okay, it uses API. Without APIs, MCP server will not work. Okay, so that's why I'm comparing here. So the here so I'm kind of recollecting this information, MCP and API. So MCP is also client server. So API is a client server. So this API is a general purpose, whereas MCP supports only LLM applications. Okay, model context protocol is only for LLM applications. So LLM application is basically any app which uses LLM, any LLM in the backend. Okay, and if you see, APIs are stateless. So stateless, and they're not having any memory to remember. Let's say if you send the API request to get a user details, so you got the user details, but next time it will not remembers that. So again you need to get another API call to make get the user details. Whereas in MCP, it is a stateful. It remembers the transaction or prompt, whatever you are using. It remembers it, and it updates the context. And next time it will not make a call. It get the from the memory. Okay, and the fourth point is basically, I think I discussed last time as well, but I'm again pointing out. So dynamic self recovery. The thing is that, sorry, discovery. The thing is that, so we cannot know how many APIs are available in the API server until if you read the documentation, or some API servers may not have a documentation. Okay, so we don't know how many APIs are available. And the next thing is, so let's say if some API make changes, let's say if they released a new version, new API version, or maybe they modified the response, if they modified the request, so you need to modify the client side. So you need to modify the client side, basically consumer, client or consumer who is going to use that API need to modify, and they need to redeploy again. Okay, so whereas in MCP server point of view, you no need to make any changes from a consumer point of view. You no need to make any deployment, because we will get the information. So using they are having a capabilities, MCP is having a capability. Okay, and the last point is standardization. So each API is having its own unique format. So each API, let's say, create a user API. Create a user API. So request may be different, response may be different for each company. Okay, each application, right? Even though it's a create user API, but request and response will not be same for all applications. It differs based on the business requirement. Okay, so whereas in MCP server scenario, so regardless of a service, username, also protocol, pattern, company, all this, and so request and response are always same. Okay, any questions here? You guys are following? Okay, so let's take,
Chandu,
yeah.
one doubt.
uh,
Actually, go back once.
uh.
Normally, stateful is what is main advantage. Normal contest and all only, or any other things. Stateful. Normally, we used to check in the servers also, right?
Okay, so stateless, stateful. So let's take a general example. Let's say you want to go from your home to your office. Okay, so you want to go from your home to your office, and you want to share your information to your manager. Okay, So here there are two things. So you can send the update to the manager of your traveling status, like so I'll reach in 10 minutes, maybe I'll reach in 15 minutes, that status. Okay, so that is basically it's maintained state, because let's say the distance between your home and your office is 10 kilometers. Okay, after 1 kilometer you travel, the distance between you and your office is 9 kilometers, right? That is a state. Initially it was a 10 kilometers and you traveled for 1 kilometers, next the status is 9 kilometers, right? That is a state.
Okay.
Okay, so here your manager goal is not to see where exactly you are, right? So how many kilometers he covered doesn't matter for manager. Okay, but manager wants to see whether you reached office or not. Okay, so for that that is a state, so that's a kind of stateless. Your traveling information is stateless. Okay, you no need to tell that, so they'll call whether you reached or not. Okay, in that you'll get the status. So whether reached or not, you'll get if it is yes or no. Whereas in a stateful you are maintaining it. Okay, the value is updates regularly.
Okay, the client to server communication also will be in a proper state.
Yeah, so no, so in that, let's say if you're sending a request, your request is not getting whether the request is middle of that, reaching, about to reach, all the status you are not getting. You're directly getting a update value, right? That is what stateless basically. You are not tracking where exactly is the request
Server is going,
thing.
request
Okay,
is going right now.
so you go it and you take the response. Let's say you updated the information. How you updated the information doesn't matter. Okay, it takes the distance. Okay, let's say if you want to, so next time let's say if it's 9 kilometers, next time if you travel one more kilometer, it's 8 kilometers, right? So you'll get the 8 kilometers. Okay, if you are maintaining a state, that is a stateful. It's a kind of update.
Got it.
Okay, APIs are stateless. So
Because if we are sending the response, we will take the response itself.
yeah,
That's
you
it.
send the request, get the response, that's it.
That's it. We
Yeah,
don't need about what the things is going and where it is going.
yeah. Okay, see, that if you use APIs in AA agent, so AA agent, I told you, right? AA agent is basically any application which internally uses LLM. Okay, and it takes a decision by itself, is a AA agent. So here if you use a API, so if you want to get the weather information, you need to have a separate API. If you want to use a hotel booking information, you will have a separate API. And if you want to get the flight information, so you can get the separate API for that. We need to integrate it. Okay, so let's say this is basically you want to plan for a trip. Okay, you need to get the weather information, hotel information, and flight information. Okay, each is having a separate API call. So whereas in MCP scenario, so even though you are having a 3 services, see MCP protocol is same, and if you see right side all are green. So if you see the pattern, MCP weather, MCP hotel, MCP flight. Okay, but in the middle of that thing, MCP protocol is standard. So you can add as many as you want on the right side, the green color thing. Here you can add as many services as you want without changing a agent. Whereas here, if you want to add some restaurant booking API, again we need to update a agent. Okay, you are following, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going. This is the major difference. So in the right, if you see, so there are 3 auth methods, 3 error patterns, and custom integration. So for three APIs. So for each API, basically you need to have a separate authorization methods, okay, error patterns, and we need to integrate for custom integration, because each API is having its own integration process. Some APIs may have a key, some APIs may have username, password, so all the stuff. So whereas in this case, so independent of services, we are going to use only one pattern. So errors are standard or reusable tools, because we are having only standard protocol. Okay, so here example, I am taken on example, get API. So get, if you see, API user ID is 1, you have a username and password. So whereas here, so in the left side, if you see, request body is username, password. Sometimes we have a different key and value. Okay, just whereas here right side, we are making a call with a service name, function name, and parameters. So these things will not change. Okay, whereas here the parameters may change. Okay, so in the weather case, also weather service, weather get weather method, and the city. So any questions here? So this approach, maybe I'll take a code and I'll explain, because last time I showed you the demo, if you remember. I'll try to take the code and I'll explain, because I added this one. Actually, let's take this. Okay, so this is a Claude desktop. So you can use VS Code, all the stuff. Just to get the understanding, I'm using a Claude now, so that it's easy to understand the demo. Okay, later if you want, you can integrate with the VS Code and any other MCP clients. Okay, so integrating creating MCP servers is easy, but creating MCP client is a little difficult. Okay, so MCP server is a direct like writing a standard code, so implementing a functionality, whereas in client, right, we need to handle a lot of things. Okay, so that's why I'm using already existing client, Claude desktop. It is internally having a MCP client itself. Okay, so how to deploy MCP server with a client? Okay, so let's take any MCP client or LLM application. So desktop, Claude desktop is one kind of LLM app. So there we are going to integrate this application, MCP server application. Okay, so let's see. So I have created a MCP server. This is if you see here, so Python is having its own MCP server. It's like how we are having a fast API for implementing REST APIs. Like that, we have a fast MCP for MCP servers. Okay, so I'm creating a fast MCP server in Python. So like this, we also have a MCP servers in Java, Node.js, .NET, other technologies as well. So while creating a MCP server, we need to specify the server name, because that server will provide services, capabilities I told you, right? Those capabilities. So that's why, so I created a MCP server using MCP package. Okay, so MCP is a kind of like Fast API, SQL Alchemy, Pandas, NumPy, how we have those packages. Like that, Python is having a MCP package as well for MCP servers. Okay, so after this one, so after running a MCP, starting the MCP server, like how we created Fast API, like that, Fast MCP. Then after that, we need to add method as a tool, right? So to identify that, this is the tool. This one just ignore for now, I'll explain this later. So MCP is basically having a tools, right? MCP capabilities are tools, prompts, templates. So but majorly is a tool. So to create a tool, it's basically any Python method. This is a generic Python method. If you add decorator, that becomes a tool for that MCP server. Okay, so this makes this method is a MCP tool for that MCP server. If you're not using this one, that becomes a normal Python method. Okay, clear? This is one thing. You need to use this MCP underscore tool decorator. Any questions here?
No, Chandra.
Okay, so fine. And one more thing, because we are handling with LLMs, we need to pass a detailed information. So like that will call as a context. Okay, you guys are all computer science students. Shiva, Gauri, Venkat.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you heard about context-free language, context-sensitive language?
I did not remember.
Oh yeah, it's old concept we used to have in our compiler design topic, theory of computation, all those things. See, the context free and context sensitive. So I'll try to explain. See, we have programming languages, right? We have natural languages. So programming languages are used to communicate between machines. Okay, or communication between a human and machine is a programming language. The C, C++, Python, all these are programming language. And we have a natural languages. So natural languages are used to communicate between humans. Okay, English, Telugu, Hindi, all these are natural languages. Natural languages having a context, and programming language doesn't have a context. So programming languages are context free languages. Okay, they don't have a context, so they'll have only one meaning. If you have a word, it's having only one meaning, whereas natural language is having a different meaning basing on a context. Okay, so that's why these languages are context sensitive languages. Okay, so that way we have a synonyms for each word. We have a synonym, multiple synonyms. Those synonyms will be used depending upon the situation. So you need to specify the context. So these LLMs are like more like a natural language applications. So we need to pass context to that application. That context is basically this docstring. This docstring, so normally in Python that is not mandatory. It will help, okay, for the user or who is going to use that code. Whereas in LLM point of view, that's a mandatory. If you're not passing that information, if you're not writing this docstring, it basically functionality of what you're going to do for in that function. Okay, if you're not passing the docstring, your LLM may give a invalid answers. It may not give a valid or expected answers. That is where comes hallucination. It understands in a different context and it will give different answers. So that's why it's always pass docstring to the Python file, Python method. Okay, so basing on that, it understand the functionality of that particular function. Okay, here, so basically we have seen the leave management system for a company, right? So here add employee is basically adding a new employee details to the existing database or whatever it is, and default leave balance is 10. If you remember in the last session, it was added default 10, right? So here that is a functionality. Add employee is a method. So like that, so leave balance, get leave balance, delete employee, all the stuff. Any questions here?
Chandra, this docstring we need to define for each and every method.
Yeah, that is what. It's not a mandatory because
If you
Python.
don't mention, it will hallucinate.
Right. You mean so the LLM may not use this add employee when you ask for can you add a new employee. It may throw an error saying that I don't have a tool to add. There is a chance. You are getting my point?
Yes, got it.
Yeah. So let's say if we comment this one, if we delete this, so you may not get expected result because we did not give a what is actual add employee is doing. Okay, so that's why in LLMs that is important. I want to show I'll show you the demo, another use case with what went wrong, all the stuff. Okay. So like this, so similarly for deleting an employee, get leave balance, all the stuff, apply leave. Okay, this I already shown you in the last session. Get leave history. This is a MCP server we created in Python. Okay, this one step is done. Next, so after implementing MCP server, we need to integrate that MCP server with a client, right? MCP host or consumer, we need to integrate. Here that is Cloud Desktop. We have a Cloud Desktop. We need to integrate with that. Let's delete the existing one. Then we'll see. So in Cloud Desktop, I think let's see here. Leave management, how to see that. Settings. Okay, so if you want to see the already existing MCP server, see here we have a existing servers. Leave management, it is we integrated. I want to delete this one. Currently it is running. Let's delete this. We will reintegrate that. So currently there are no MCP server in this Cloud Desktop LLM application, desktop application. Okay. Let's ask a new chat. Okay. Now let's see how many employees. Get me the leave balance. Leave balance. Chandra. Before going that, let's see whether this leave balance is it's still available. Okay, so here the services are available. That's it will give. Let me restart this. Guys, you are following? Shiva, Gauri, Anand. Yeah, okay, fine. So now let's see whether the MCP servers are integrated or not. See now here there is no third party leave management system. Okay, so now I'll ask a question. So get me the leave balance of Chandra. Let's see what will happen. In the last session we got some information, right? You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what will happen.
Search web.
Okay, see here I don't have access to any employee records. So now we got this information. So let's say we have MCP server, we already developed it, and we did not integrate it to through our LLM application. So let's integrate that MCP server with this LLM application. How to integrate it? Let's see. So here, so our MCP server is basically leaves.py. Okay, so here it is leaves.py. This is what I created. It is having MCP server and the tools we added. Right. So let's install that. If so, to integrate this MCP server with the Cloud Desktop is you can run this command. UV. Did you heard about UV? Anybody?
Yeah, package manager like PIP.
Yeah, so we discussed about virtual environment, right, in earlier session. Virtual environment we are doing manually, whereas UV is a more advanced of kind of virtual environment. It will create everything for you. You no need to make creating a virtual environment folder, activate it, all the stuff. Okay, UV is a separate package, new package. It's next level of virtual environment. It's more efficient. That's why I think nowadays all LLM applications are using UV. Okay, UV is a kind of a package manager with virtual environment default in that. UV and we are going to run an application. Okay, so we're installing MCP server leaves.
So Chandra, this UV will come by default with Python.
No, that is also package like yeah. Oh, I think I did not discussed about UV. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I'll cover in the next session. Okay, yeah, I'll cover in the next. It's a, if you understand virtual environment, so UV is going to be very easy, and minor steps you need to use. That's it. Okay, so that's it. So this command, see, we are installing MCP server. What is the MCP server name? Leaves.py. We are installing MCP server to the cloud desktop. Okay, let's see.
So Chandra, this normal in real-time applications, but UI we need to develop, or we are using the third party like this cloud kind of things.
Okay, see, so that's what, if you see the architecture, let's take this architecture where we have, where is that architecture? Here, if you see this thing, all are independent modules. Okay, so this is MCP. We are creating this MCP server. Okay,
No, that is okay. This is I understood. No, what I'm asking that UI interface.
that's what I'm coming to there only. So here MCP is independent thing. If you want to connect with the database, you can connect. This database we need to develop. That's the independent thing. Okay. If you want to do email notification service or anything, you need to do it separately. Like that, this is a client cloud desktop we are using. If you want to develop this one, you can develop your own. Like see here, Python application. Instead of cloud desktop, you can create your own Python application. If you want to VS Code, you can use that. So all are independent things. Either you can create your own, or you can use in already existing one. That is all your business requirement.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, normally I'm asking in a real time. In any,
So
you have some.
So normally we need to develop, because cloud, either you need to go for corporate thing. Okay, so this we are using a free version, right? So free version corporate well we may not use. Okay, so that's why normally people will go for they need to create their own, or so they can pay it and use it.
So we need to know about both, right?
Right. Yeah, you need to know, yeah, you need to know about both. So that's why what is happening, that I think I already explained. Where is it? How MCP works, I think there. Let's go there. Where is that? Oh, not this one. How MCP works. See here, basically we are asking question. Okay, let's see. Get me the leave balance of Chandra is the question. It is going to the MCP host. Here is a cloud desktop. So what cloud desktop is doing, see, it already checked in the LLM, public LLM, and it is not getting the information. So next it will go to MCP server. It will ask get detail, get tools. Okay, so these get tools, we will get all the methods, like whatever available in this. See, these are the tools: add employee, get leave balance, apply leave. These are the tools. Get leave history. Okay, so those, because we integrated it, so those things should come here. Let's see. If not, maybe we need to restart it. Let me restart it. This is also every time you no need to restart, but this cloud desktop is giving like that. But if you take a paid version, or if you want to integrate it, right, it should come automatically. Okay.
it will load all the running servers.
Sorry.
No, this Claude, whatever you are using, right, the desktop. So
Okay.
load all the running servers, right?
No, all the configured servers.
How we configure that one?
So this one, see, we integrated this.
UV run. Okay.
This will see they're making a connection. That is what I want to tell here.
Okay. UV is the.
Yeah, so making a connection. That's kind of deployment.
Okay.
You have a so here Claude desktop maybe it may not use the get tools every time. Okay, but for at least once it will get the tools. Okay, those tools are add employee, get leave balance, apply leave, that one.
Chandra, one doubt.
Yeah.
We have cursor also, right? That one VS Code also, right?
Yeah.
How it is connecting to Cloud only? Why not?
Because I did not enable VS Code for that. Okay, because we need to integrate a plugins for that. You need to integrate a plugins because by default VS Code will not get all that stuff. Okay, everything is extensions, whatever you call it. And we need to make it, say it's kind of like you have a multiple browsers in your desktop, right? You have a Firefox, you have Safari, you have a Chrome. Okay, whenever you are opening a web page, like maybe HTML file from your desktop, it is going to default, right? So until you set up the default, so normally it asks for that. So that's why that is all configuration stuff. You need to understand the concepts.
If I don't have Cloud desktop installed on my machine, then what will happen?
So you'll get the error saying that there is no corresponding MCP client.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, those are system things. It's having that access to the system. It will verify that. Okay, so the same like let's say if you have a PDF file and if you not installed PDF reader, right? It will throw an error, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so something like that. So here the process is you asked a question, get me the leave balance of Chandra. So that question will come to Claude desktop. Claude desktop will interact with the MCP server, and MCP server from that. So MCP server it will get the details from here. It's not a database, Python application. So it reads that from the Python application, and it will provide the details like add employee. Add employee is a tool. Leave balance is a tool. Okay, so those tools now those are with the Claude desktop. So with that information, it will question plus tools. We are passing tools, right? Tools is basically method. Add employee is having a description, doc string I was talking about, right? The doc string. Basing on the doc string, LLM will decide you are going to use this method. Okay, it will specify that because LLM understand the language. So it will understand the language. Basing on the context, it will decide the method, and it will suggest that tool n. Maybe there are n tools. In that it will specify one tool. Okay, if it is a leave balance, go call the get balance method, and that one, so we'll get the functionality of that, and we'll get the response, and we'll come back to the answer. This is what happening. Any questions? Let's see now.
So
yeah.
So the Claude will have a default LLM model.
Yeah. So no, it's not having LLM model. It interacts with it. If you are having internet, then only it will see. It's kind of a ChatGPT.
Which LLM will it use?
Claude is having its own LLM, and Anthropic it's having its own LLM. Okay, that will call the Claude. It's a Claude LLM. Okay, so this is a desktop app. So instead of that, we can use ChatGPT also, but ChatGPT is not having a desktop this thing because so to learn, right, to learn MCP servers, Claude is easy. That's why I have taken this. Okay, it's Claude desktop is also like ChatGPT only. ChatGPT we are using in a web application, whereas desktop this Claude is a desktop application. That's it.
So we can do it using website also, right?
You see, we cannot integrate anything in a website, right? This is because that web application is in the remote. We are accessing it, right?
I mean, like ChatGPT.
Okay, if you want to integrate ChatGPT, okay, so where that web application is running in the remote, right?
Yes.
We are accessing, but actually it is running in somewhere. At that system, you need to configure it. Okay, because this configure this cloud desktop, we have a control. That's why we are configuring here. But if it is a web application, that should be some web server somewhere here. Okay, so there we need to make a connection between MCP server and that cloud application, and the communication will come from here to here and here to here.
So the ChatGPT won't provide any plugins like connecting MCP servers.
Yeah, so I think ChatGPT, yes, I think I'm not sure whether it is having a desktop application or not. Okay, so if it is having a desktop application, we can do it. Otherwise, see, ChatGPT is not actually the server; it's a web app. Okay, so you are making a request and getting the response. So that request is going to some OpenAI server. Okay, so that OpenAI server, at that place we need to integrate MCP server with OpenAI. Okay, any questions? Clear? Still not? You want me to draw a picture and show? Okay, fine. So now see, I integrated this MCP server with the cloud desktop. So added server to cloud config. Let's see. Whatever. Now see, we successfully integrated MCP server with the cloud desktop. Let's see whether it is integrated or not. So here, if we integrate, see, I can see that one, leave management, right? That name we specified in file. Here is the leave management. That name is coming here. Okay, and the tools I was talking about, right? Each method is a tool because we specified the tools: add employee, get leave balance, apply leave, get leave history. These are the tools I added here. See, add employee, get leave balance, apply leave, and get leave history. Okay, now this is integrated successfully. Now we can ask so same thing I'll ask here. What is that? Here, get me leave balance of Chandra. Get me leave balance of Chandra. Let's see. Allowance. Yeah, now it is showing this one. See, Chandra current leave balance is 15 days. Earlier it got some information saying that I don't have a information about employee record or whatever it is. Now because we integrated MCP server, that's why we are getting it. Okay, any question? Now let's say how many employees are there. So we integrated it. Let's say let's modify this one. How many employees are there? See, it is giving. I don't have access to the function can enter it the total number of employees in the system. And it is giving the tools. These are the tools available to extract the information from an employee leave management system. Okay. So now you can add here. So now, so I am adding one more method to get the employee count. How many employees are there? Okay, so again we need to integrate this. Okay, so added this one. Let's restart it. Let's see whether that method is coming here or not. If you see here, get employee count. Okay, earlier this method was not there, this tool was not there. We added and we got this one. Let's see the same question here. Let's ask the question. I don't have access, so now let's see how many employees are there. It is asking actually yellow or deny, so I'm giving yellow once to. Okay, so this is intentional. I want to show you that. See how many employees are there. So that function get employee count is not actually is a proper code. I intentionally made a error there. So because so it is throwing an error based on the error message. I can see that there are currently 2 employees in the system. See, Varun and Chandra. There are two things, 2 employees. Even though it got error, it is giving this thing. That is basically it understands the whole MCP server information. Okay, this is because even though we have error, I used to get the employee count. I used keys, employees.keys. Employees is basically a dictionary here. It's having 2 users, but it will throw an error. So that's why instead of this, you can use a length. That is my intentionally I did for that. So even still we will get some information. Okay, you got my point? And
So Chandra, here if you remove that doc comment, what will happen?
yeah, if you remove the doc comment, yeah, so if you remove this doc comment, and anyway this method name looks similar, so you may get it. Okay, let's say this is just count or something and display. Okay, so you may not get it, so but because it's signed, but let's see that's all a trial and error scenario. Okay, so let's that's fine. You can let me. See, now we have a display instead of get employee count. Let's see how many employees are there. Let's see. Wants to use display from leave management system. Hello. Okay. Oh, it is calling display. See, the method it's calling display. Maybe because of the code. Okay, it understand all the stuff, right? Yeah, so maybe it understand length of employees and returning employee count. So because this is a simple thing, it understands, but in a complex application or it's having a more data, okay, so you'll get some unwanted answers.
Okay. So Chandra, one more thing here.
Mhm.
So now you defined employees dictionary. Okay, assume you want to get it from the external source, then we need to use fast API code here.
That is also I want to whether I want to I thought of showing the demo, but anyway you asked. Okay, employees, let's say these employees are not in here. Okay, so instead of this thing, that is external database. Okay, in that case basically what we are doing, see, I'm getting the details from the here. So instead of that, I'll make a call, API call here.
The fast API only.
By anything, whether it's a past API, it doesn't matter, right? That API could be, we are trying to access any endpoint, API endpoint. Okay, request, we have a request, right? Request dot get. Okay, here it is a user details. So that is also JSON only, right? You'll get the JSON response. Okay, that one we are going to return instead of this one, right? So this is all, once we have a connectivity, that is all in our control, what you are doing. Okay, this is what you need to understand. It's not about Python MCP or fast MCP or fast API. It's not about that. It's about how it is working. Okay, so how to connect between systems. See, once maybe if you get the work, you may not work on a Python. You may need to work on some Java or Node.js or some other thing. But these concepts are same. You need to make a method like MCP tool and call that tool by configuring with MCP host. Okay, so any questions here? So mostly all MCP servers you will have a capability of tools only, and but prompt and templates normally 90% not used, but just showing it is also having those capabilities. If you are talking about MCP server, majority are tools. Okay, so those tools, it's basically making an external call to the data API only. It's external call. So you'll make a connection to the MCP server. Once you reach MCP server, so here all the information should be external, majority in the external systems. So let's say if you want to get the hotel details or availability of hotel, you make a call here for hotel availability. Okay, so this MCP server, so this majority are using these MCP servers like that. This is MCP server is developed by this cloud system, this one only, Anthropic. Okay, so but other majority are using MCP server, but others are also trying to get a standard protocol, but still there is under discussion or research level, R&D level. Okay, but MCP is most people are using. So all big companies, all are having providing a MCP server. Like GitHub is having its own MCP server. You can integrate MCP server with your GitHub, and you can, instead of reading README file, okay, you can ask the question here. So how to set up my module, you can ask like that. It will give the sequence of steps. Okay, any questions here? Okay, if not, maybe I'll stop here for today. I'll stop. Any questions? If no questions,
Yeah, so one thing, Chandu. So assume in mobile, you I think we developed some UI
Mm-hmm.
mobile application. So from that UI, I want to interact with this MCP server. Then in middle, we need any LLM.
Okay, so for that, let's take scenario like in mobile, how we are displaying your user details, from where you are getting user details.
Yeah, some
external API, right? So UI is always just display purpose. Okay,
So
so
like this one only, Claude interface
right,
I
right,
developed.
right. So
I developed some UI like that.
right, Claude is basically UI. It just display purpose.
Uh,
It is
no,
not
so
doing.
what I'm asking, in a normal Android native app, I developed some search box and I'm entering the details and I hit the button.
Mm-hmm.
So after hitting that button, I want to interact with this entire process to get the MCP server, and I want to represent that whatever you developed, right? This one leave management system.
Okay.
I want to access the leave management server in Android native application.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So in between, any LLMs are required, or we can directly.
Okay. So that's a question. Do is really LLMs are required or not? Okay. So for that, how you are going to present your information to the customer is the question. Okay. If you want to show exactly what you got from the external system, you no need to LLM. Okay, so let's say what you are doing, you are getting customer details and you are customizing it and showing to the customer with more attractive way or more readable way, right? In normal mobile app, you got the response in a JSON format, right?
No. I'm not asking about UI.
No.
Display
So
purpose.
that's where I'm
Backend.
coming. That's where I'm coming. Let's take this existing example, then we'll compare with LLM. Okay. So from API, you are getting a response as JSON. Always JSON, right? API response is always JSON, but you are not showing that JSON response to the customer. You are making some alignment or some more attractive way or more something like that, and you are showing in a UI mobile app, right? So like that, if you want to show more descriptive way, then you need to use LLM. You're getting
Like
so
a charting application kind of thing. Then
no, it's not only charting. This is so majority will say
I
that's
mean
a charting.
interactive.
Yeah, so more interactive. More, let's say here, let's take this question. What I did, somewhere I asked, right? See here, I asked how many employees are there is the question. For that, you can just say 2, right? That is also valid.
No, to get the two number,
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking.
To get that, so for that you need to make another call.
That call means how we will call that.
So that call is basically API call, because MCP server is another thing. You are making instead of API call, you are making MCP server call. Okay, so
that call means how to do that call.
like
Assume fast API is one way of calling normal any external resource. So I want to call this MCP server, then from the mobile app, you are the
yeah. So you just call like this. Where is that? Okay, I'll go. Here, see. Here we are making weather API. We are making a call, one call. This API integration, right? Weather API, hotel API. Here for making a MCP protocol, there is standard. See, MCP call and weather. This is how you are making a call. Okay, that's a protocol we need to follow. For that, MCP call and weather, and this is a service. I think I shown you here. See this one. See, call tool, weather service, method, and city. So this thing you are going to make in your mobile application.
Okay, but this MCP client libraries we need to.
And that is a package we need to install. See, for making a API request, you are using Axios or something, right? For Android or iOS, something else.
Okay.
So like that, we need to have a package.
That we need to search.
Yeah, so that we will get the answer.
Okay, you are saying like retrofit, there will be some library using that you need to call.
Right. Yeah, you need to call. So, but that is a two-step process. If you see here.
So is there any library, Chandra, you aware of?
So not sure, Gauri. So because mobile app, I did not concentrate on that. So my majority is backend and how to interact with systems. Yeah.
Like in WhatsApp also, right? They are sending. Those are coming as a web only. WhatsApp AI.
WhatsApp AI.
some in WhatsApp we are integrating some AI.
Yeah, so all are similarly. So WhatsApp is one kind
Those
of client.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
so maybe mobile app or WhatsApp or anything else. But in the back end, the process is same.
No.
Hmm.
What I'm asking this interaction. I'm asking.
Interaction is also similar. Let's see. First, we'll get that one. Okay, so then we'll make it.
No, Chandra.
Uh,
This one, a retrofit client kind of thing. I'm asking what they used. See, from mobile they are calling right that MCP API server
okay.
tools. So the tool calling mechanism I want to know. So what they use back end internally.
WhatsApp, huh?